Hi, everyone. This is a brief overview of Chapter 2, which is focused on the nature and extent of crime. And I want you to think about this. If you wanted to find out what the official rate of white collar crimes is in the United States per year, you would have a difficult time finding an official statistic that the Bureau of Justice keeps. And as you'll find when you go through the chapter, the government is very good, and our other organizations, at keeping track of what are known as Part 1 and Part 2 crimes. The Uniform Crime Report is the Bureau of Justice's official statistic keeping report. But if you wanted to find out about, how many people are convicted of white collar crimes, that would be a little bit more difficult. You'd have to break it down very specifically to things such as embezzlement or insider trading, etc. And as you'll see, Part 1 and Part 2 crimes are really focused on street crimes, the kinds of crimes that most crime shows are based on. And that's largely because people are interested in criminals and crimes people commit. And think about it this way. If there was a TV show about white collar criminals, catching white collar criminals, like America's Most Wanted or, Cops, etc., it would probably be a pretty boring show because one of the reasons most people who watch America's Most Wanted or Cops, etc., is because they like to see people act a little crazy and try to get away. And the reality is that white collar criminals don't do that. I mean, can you imagine how boring it would be to have a camera crew accompany FBI agents who are going to arrest, say, Roger Stone, who was arrested this past summer for some white collar crimes? Or Paul Manafort, who also was not only arrested for but convicted of white collar crimes, or Michael Cohen, who also was arrested and was convicted of some white collar crimes. These are people who don't run away. They don't get all out of control. They even allow people like this to get dressed, and they won't even put them in handcuffs. These are people who may even receive a tip off that they're going to be arrested, and so they'll just show up with their lawyers at a police station and turn themselves in. That's all pretty boring. I think most people like to see people who are suspected of committing street crimes, and so there lies our obsession in the U.S. with street crimes. Also, this chapter is focused on the crime trends as well as crime patterns. So the trends being focused on what kinds of crimes are committed. Are there more fraud cases today than before? Are there fewer check writing cases, for example, and more internet fraud schemes? The types of crimes may have changed, even though they may be monetary crimes. And then also the crime patterns, looking at things such as what season, what place, what time, also gender and race and ethnicity, firearm use, social class, and age. And then finally, there's a brief look at chronic offenders. And I want you to, as you go through the chapter, there are a few of the critical thinking pieces in the chapter. And so I want you to focus on some of those because I think that they pose some very interesting questions. So that's it for this brief overview. And I know this chapter may be for some of you a little dry because of all the statistical information, etc. But I promise it gets better. I promise. So stick with it, and I'll see you next week.